and I'll mute my mic.
Ready?
And you are on.
Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. They're flying high over that old rainbow. I wonder why, Lord, can't I? Somewhere over the rainbow, well, you know there's a land old Jerry dreamed of, once in a lullaby. Someday I'll reach up on a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where kisses are melting like lemon drops, way above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. They're flying high over the rainbow. I wonder why can't I? Someday I'll reach up on a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me. You know where kisses melt like lemon drops, way above the chimney tops is where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly. My God, they're flying high over the rainbow. Why can't I?
sure we'll continue this conversation. But there's two mentalities that we can have. There's a mentality that this world's mentality, which we have. We're born to die. And we're not born to die. I went over this many times. There's the crucifixion mentality, and there's the resurrection mentality. You heard me say this many times. This is what the resurrection shift was all about. The resurrection shift was about, it came out of a more mundane situation, but it's turned over time. A couple of years back, when I came back, it turned into crucifixion mentality, resurrection mentality. The crucifixion mentality is mentality of we're here, we're dying, and we're slowly but surely falling apart, and we're ending up in death and dying. Ego. We're born to die. We're born to die. We're born to die. We're born to die. That's the whole idea. The minute you're born, death. The only thing is real is death. Death is God in this world. Death is in charge. That's the crucifixion mentality. We are all dying on the cross. Every single one of us is dying on the cross, and that's it. We're dead. We dead. That's it. We dead. We dead. Everyone. We dead. Everyone was death. In Adam, all die. In Adam, all die. And they're all dead. And this is probably the average. If we're here, that's the average opinion. That's the opinion. Now, there's also the other. There's the resurrection mentality. This is someone that knows they might have to do with the cross anyway, but they know there's another side to the cross. There's the other side to the cross. Whether they have to do with the cross, so what? It's a part of life. Sometimes you have to go into combat, and you have to fight certain things. But you're not worried about it, because it's something that hurts. When you get to a certain point where you can overcome the cross and beat death completely and be resurrected, you conquer without any pain. There's no pain and suffering for you. Jesus was up, where he was at, enlightenment-wise, he was in pure resurrection mentality. He was there before he even died on the cross. He didn't really die, but before he even was removed from the cross and put in the coffin, he was already. It was already 3 days later for him. He knew what was going to happen. He was there. He was already there. He was in resurrection mentality. He was in resurrection already. So death, you have to know for sure that death is only a stepping stone to something higher, something better. Like when he came back, he was running around doing great things, having a good time. And then he ascends even higher than he was when he first resurrected. He's badass. And we're all going to become that like that. That's the whole idea of what we're doing here. We're trying to come back lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, and hope that we become badass too. And kick death's butt. Head with death. He is the biggest guy in the room. If you're in a rumble, you always have to hit the biggest guy first. Hit the biggest guy first. The biggest person, the biggest idea, the biggest ideology, the biggest problem this world has is death. And they're trying to cure it. There are doctors out there that are trying to cure it. They're trying to cure aging so they can stop that little disease out there where people age really quickly. You've heard about that? You know that disease. I don't know the name of it, but they're trying to cure it. Which means they're trying to cure aging. If they cure aging, the average person said that if they ever cure it, the average person will live about 300 years. Holy smoke, can you imagine that? Everyone always said, I wouldn't want that, that's too long for me. Man, baloney. Everyone will be taking that pill, trust me. Resurrection mentality. We're going to live forever anyway. It doesn't make a difference how long we live in this world. Because this world is a crucifixion setup. It's a crucifixion context. The whole place. Everyone's walking around being bummed out, subconsciously, if not consciously, that they're going to die. Even the people that say live life to the fullest. It's not a bad idea, but you should live life to the fullest, not because you're going to die, because you live life to the fullest, you move on afterwards. You have no regrets. No resentments. No grievances. You've given it your all. Time to move on to something better. Something more fun, more blissful, more pleasurable. Whether us more happiness, more approval, more love. This is the resurrection. We live in the resurrection. If you will allow for it, we're being resurrected every single moment we think about it. Just think about it. Now, what does the resurrection mentality do for us? How do we understand the resurrection in the sense that how does Jesus' resurrection help us? We know how he helped us to a certain degree. We know that his resurrection helps us in this way. We know that in conquering death, he showed us that we don't have to worry about death being the end. Because he died, 3 days later, there he was. So death can't be the end. At least not for everybody. There's a certain, you can live on. I mean, if you think about it, most animals on this planet don't crave what they can't get, what the species has never had experience with. Animals like lions, they might want to survive, but they probably don't think in terms of personal immortality and leaving a legacy behind for all species, kind, every species or all the lion cubbies to remember them by, or read Tolstoy, or write poetry, or getting good with God. They probably don't think that way. But they really have no experience as a species with those things. They don't read the paper. They don't have any experience with politics or the planet on our level. We do. We crave personal immortality, each one of us, because the species has an experience with that. There have been those who have personal immortality, who've had it. For instance, take lions again. It's the birthright of the lions to go out and hunt for food and get food. Now, it doesn't mean every lion's going to get the food. There are probably lions that couldn't get the food and died. But it's their right to do it, and they've done it, and they want to do it, and they do it. And they do it, because it's part of their energy. Well, part of our energy is personal immortality. We will live on forever. We want it, we've always wanted it, everyone wants it, we're going to get it. The question is, what does it mean? Where are we going to end up? What's the deal? Everyone, that's what we're fighting over. 98% of this world, 95% of the country especially, believes in personal immortality. On some level. A lot of them believe in heaven and hell, hence a small problem in my opinion, but this is what most people believe in life after death. I simply believe that, as the Course simply teaches, we're going to keep on coming back here until we get the heck out. Until we wake up in the dream to a point where we can be woken up completely. Until we can wake up from the dream. But that's not something we can do, really. What we can do is to remove the blocks to waking in the dream. What else has Jesus done for us? What else has his resurrection done for us? That the crucifixion couldn't have done alone. Needed the resurrection for. Makes us resurrection people. Don't get me wrong, you need the crucifixion. Without the crucifixion, there's the resurrection. Obviously. You need both. You can't skip over to one, the resurrection, without... Yeah. But that resurrection was important because it showed us the perfection, the perfect being. Jesus had perfected himself. He had become the one person that perfected himself, in which through him all mankind was perfected. And you say, well, where does it say that, Rev? I didn't know about that. Well, I'm going to show you. Give me a moment here. All right. Where's the mouse go? No mousey, mousey, mousey. Oh my God. There it is. Okay, good. All right, here's where it says that. This is where it says, it's in the manual, chapter 13. He said the entire planet, every person on it, just by doing what he did. He did this for us. He died for us. He died for our sins, really, in a sense. In a sense, he almost did, really, because he died in order we could, our sin, belief in sin could no longer be an issue. It might seem like an issue, but it's all going to work out. Now we know. To the extent that you know it, now you see what he did, to the extent that you know it's not going to be a problem, you can let go of it now. You can see, you can get there like he did. You can get there, you can get to the end result. Listen to this. Chapter 13, how many teachers of God are needed to save the world? The answer to the question is one. One holy, perfect teacher, whose learning is complete and suffices. This one sanctified and redeemed becomes the self, who is the Son of God. He who was always the Holy Spirit no longer sees himself as a body. All right, let's something before that. All right, the answer to the question is one. One being who is holy, who is a perfect teacher, whose learning is complete, suffices. This one sanctified and redeemed becomes the self, who is the Son of God. Now, that can apply to everybody. It does apply to everybody. But it applies to everybody because the first person who did it was him. If I put the word instead of the one, if I said the answer to the question is Jesus. He is holy, perfect teacher. His learning is complete, and that's it. He suffices. It's one sanctified and redeemed. He becomes himself. He is the Son of God. I mean, it says one person is needed, and he is that person. Is he not perfect? Is he not the Holy Spirit, equal to the Holy Spirit? Is this not his mind in the book here? Allow for yourself to accept that perfection. We are perfect as well. We are that. I am this one, this holy, perfect teacher. I am learning. My learning is complete. I suffice. I am sanctified and redeemed. I am the self who is the Son of God. But I am that, not because of what I have done, but because of what Jesus did. Because what he did showed me who I am. Not because of any blood sacrifice or anything. He just showed me who I was. He was able to do it, so he did it. He did what he could do. And he could do more than I can do, it would seem. But there's no competition like that. Everything in this room is equal to everything else. He did what he could do. He did what his job was. His function was peace, and he did what he could do to share peace. In a big old spectacular, sensational action that everyone could see. Everyone's screaming out to everybody, look, don't worry about a thing. There's life after death. You're going to live on. You're perfect beings. Check it out. Look at me. I'm walking through walls, I'm playing jokes on people at the coffin. At the tomb. I'm having dinner with my friends. I'm ascending to heaven. Now he's channeling messages to Helen and to us. I mean, these guys got some. We got work to do. We want to catch up to this guy. I don't know. We have TikTok though. I don't know if we'll ever get there, but we'll see. We shall see. All right, so let's take one part of the song. Come back and we're gonna have Lynn Johnson. Okay, so let's take it easy, everyone. God bless you all. And
Some say love Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger, an endless aching need. I say love, it is a flower, and you, it's only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes the chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul's afraid of dying that never learns to live. When the night has been too lonely and the road has been too long, and you think that love is only for the lucky and the strong, just remember in the winter, far beneath the bitter snows, lies the seed that with the sun's love in the spring becomes the rose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so nothing. I mean, there was a time when Jesus himself didn't know all of this. All right, he must have come into contact or access to the Christ mind within himself, to the Christ consciousness. There was a time, it wasn't like he woke up one morning and had all this information in his head. I mean, maybe, but that's not how I see it. It's never how I see it. You know, it wasn't, I'm saying he had all this information in his head at 10 years old, but at some point, as he would have been in the ACIM community, or had been with John, his cousin, you know, at some point, as he came, and perhaps it came to him in one shot, but if it came to him, he still must have, you know, that's how I did it back in lesson 51, when I started doing it. The first 5 I'll do, is that I imagine Jesus was speaking through me, and saying these things as if it was coming to him for the first time. Now, why did I do that? Because if you look back on what does it say in the manual? He needed one of us to suffice. One person suffices if they're whole and complete. Well, Jesus was the first one to be whole and complete. He sufficed. So we don't need really to try to suffice. We don't need to try to make something happen. We don't need to do that. He's already done it. He did it for us. Yes, he died for us. Not for our sins or any of that nonsense. He died so we don't have to do the nonsense of trying to become innocent. He just did that for us. He's the one person who sufficed. His consciousness, obviously, he knows where now. He's aware. His awareness is everywhere, as ours is. But we don't really have. We have that sort of. We haven't discovered the truth of that really. He has. So his is everywhere. He's aware of himself right here, right now, in our presence. He's hearing this. And so what we have to do is focus on that first. So can you? Oh, so I read this here. I mean, we know back when we're in that part of the manual that it's us that he's talking about. But first, we also know he's talking about Jesus, because Jesus is like us. So the Son of God in there is also us. And so when you speak about Jesus, he redefines Son of God. So he's talking about himself, also about us. So when we see, can I go back to the manual for a second? Yeah. The answer to the question is one. Only one holy, perfect teacher whose learning is complete suffices. Now, that one can be you, me, your friends, anyone, or Jesus. So the answer to the question is Jesus. He's one holy, perfect teacher whose learning is complete suffices. So Jesus suffices. This one sanctified and redeemed becomes the self. Is not Jesus ourself? Is not Christ ourself? He personifies the Christ consciousness. He is holy. He no longer sees himself as a body. He is the ideal of somebody who sees himself as pure spirit. Now, what he did was, in my opinion, is he put himself there so you can focus on him as sort of like your spirit. So he can take over. He says in the Course he wants to take over your ego. He wants to become your ego. Because he's already conquered it, so he knows what he's doing. Let him lead the way. His perception of himself is based upon God's judgment, not his own. How many times has he said that? I speak as my Father speaks, not in my own judgment, not in my own. He's forever one, because he has God created him, he's accepted Christ, and he is saved. Now, once you realize that you're speaking about Jesus, but you're also speaking about yourself, because whatever you say about Jesus says right back to you about you. Now you can walk around and say, I'm not going to try anything. Jesus' awareness is right here, right now, and he's saying to me, yeah, you're good, you're good, you're good. Now look, I know that, you say, well, why would you believe that? Well, he's here. That's a pretty good trick. I'll believe that because he's here. He manages to enter into my story, into my dream, and defend me, and be there for me. It says only one. The answer is one. Thus does the Son of Man become the Son of God. He was the Son of Man, he became the Son of God. Now, if you want to see, well, I'm going to get out of here for a second. How do I get out of here? I can't find. Oh yeah, I'm going to go into here for a second. This is the Cronkite edition for the same thing in the manual, and this is how she put it. She had translated it, and this is what Jesus is saying right back to us. The answer to this question is one, you, as a holy, perfect teacher whose learning is complete. When you are this one that is sanctified and redeemed, you will be the self that is one with God. You will be the Christ. You have always been spirit. You who have always been spirit will no longer see yourself as a body or even in a body. You will know that you are limitless, and being aware of that you are limitless, your thoughts will be joined with God's thoughts forever. Your perception of yourself will be based on God's judgment, not on the judgment of the personal mind. So you get the point. This comes to you from the man who did this already. Now, we need to go back to 51, if it's possible. I'm running around, but I'm listening to 51. Yeah, so let's listen to 51. Sorry, I want to do that. What I did years ago. Yeah. All right, cool. Now, nothing I see means anything. So what he must, you can imagine what he was doing. He was, nothing I see means anything. Nothing I see means anything. You're discovering this now for the first time. Nothing I see means anything. The reason is that I see nothing, and nothing has no meaning. It is necessary that I recognize this, that I may learn to see. What I think I see now is taking the place of vision. I must let it go by realizing it has no meaning, so that my vision may take its place. Got it. Yes, the first one that he got was that one right there. He didn't know number 2 yet. He got number 1 first. And suddenly it occurred to him, I have given what I see all the meaning it has for me. I have judged everything I look upon, and it is this that I only see. This is not vision. It's merely an illusion of reality, because my judgments have been made quite apart from reality. I'm willing to recognize my lack of validity in my judgments, but I want to see. My judgments have hurt me. And how do I see according to them? Oh, awesome. You see, and he's done with the whole thing. He's now got it. At least the first 50 lessons. And then he runs through the whole thing. Now he's at the first 50, now he moves on. Now he's not running lessons as we do, it's coming to him. And then by the time he's finished, all this is, by the time he's finishing accessing the Christ mind, and all this is revealed to him, he's all good. Nothing's bothering him. You know, he's the most advanced, in my opinion, the most advanced teacher there is, ever. I mean, not many other teachers could do what he did. And he's here now with us, acting as our leader, being that one being who suffices. We don't have to try to suffice. We don't try to be innocent or immortal. We can't do that. We can't anyhow. How do you try to be immortal? How do you try to be innocent? We know we're innocent because Jesus proved it. He conquered death. He conquered darkness. His mind expanded so much so he could be here now with us. What do you think, Len?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty, you're pretty accurate. And as you're talking about hearing or having Jesus be here with us now, you know, we can experience Jesus here with us now. And I think that's what you're talking about. You can feel him here. If he comes to your mind when you're asking a question or looking for, you know, something, whatever it is, you know, he's here with you right now. And he's here with us always. So, yeah, I think this is a lovely direction that you're going in here with this lesson 51. And I appreciate, you know, what you're saying.
Yeah, it's also cool when
continue.
If you focus on Jesus first, being that he was the first, you focus on him first, he becomes sort of you don't worship him. There's no worship going on here. It's just focusing on Jesus, letting him lead the way, and you read this, realizing that every time you see the Son of God, it's him. It's him and us. It's not just you, and it's not just everybody. Everybody is basically nobody. You're saying the sonship is just true, and we know that also. But it's me, it's you, it's Dove, it's Regis, it's people we know. Because then you are attaching it to people, and we interact with on a regular basis. It's not just a glob of it's not just the masses of the sonship. And the first person that we should see when I see when I read the Son of God is him, Jesus. And then I'll reread it and I'll say, I feel Jesus is saying this to me. And everyone I meet, I can now say it to them. I know Jesus said, there's another Son of God, there's another Son of God, there's another Son of God, there's another Son of God. And then let that reverberate on its own to the sonship. You know, And then again, now we're at the same spot as you would have in a. Once again, he's explaining the Christian system as it should be. This is what it means that this is almost explaining grace and unmerited favor. You have to do anything. God's grace, God's love is just. If you get out of this mess, do nothing. Because the more you try to do something, the more you're saying, well, you didn't do it. I don't believe you did it. So how could I do it? I said that before about my Parkinson's. I said, well, Muhammad Ali couldn't do it. How can I beat it if he couldn't beat it? He's the greatest. You can get caught up in thinking, he died on the cross. How can I make it? But he also conquered death. He came out the other side. So we can trust it. And I've given all that. It's the same thing. I don't think we're going further with. You get the point. I mean, when I did it last time, I think it was my first or second time I did it, or maybe it was. I run through the course. I think twice at that point. I mentioned it on the time I did. I don't know if you have all the recordings from back then. I don't know what you kept and what you don't keep, but it's an old one. I know that. I think it was in Austria when I did it. I was living in Amsterdam, and I think we took a trip to Austria, and that's when I did it. I sound so much younger when I listen to those old tapes. Anyhow, that's one of the things I'm trying to develop here. This idea that we can focus more on Jesus as being the Son of God, is spoken about in the course, knowing very well that we're also speaking about ourselves. But it's almost fun to see how he speaks. The Spirit is speaking about Jesus through the course, and then when you realize you've done, remember the course is the course. It's not ever going to lead you astray. You can't read it wrong, really. I mean, you could try to if you doesn't want to, but if you're trying to read it right, I guess you can always take things out of context. But if you're trying to read it right, and you're asking the Holy Spirit for guidance, and you read it that way, as I do, and I'm trying to develop something that I can help myself with and others, you're going to come up with something beautiful. And me, I'm looking for Jesus in this course, specifically how I can, I'm always wanting to say, how can I tweak the course? How can I interact with Jesus? And I do it by, saying, taking a word, changing it to this word, changing it to that word. I might see, if I see salvation, I'll change it to peace, or change it to love, or happiness. Always using different words here, different words there. As long as it doesn't change the meaning, then Jesus is cool with that. It's how you interact a little bit with the mind of Christ. And so most of the time when you read that, you try to immediately associate it with yourself, but it's easier to do it. Your gut reaction is to see Son of God as Jesus, and then realize, wow, wait a minute, He's the Son of God, yes, but so am I, and I can go around and say that I am the Son of God, and we are all sons of God. We are child of the Father, the Most High, and we can raise the dead, and we can heal. We can do what He did. Not now. At some point. But we can't.
Why not now?
I mean, like physically.
No, I mean, why not now? I'm
I guess I guess you're right. Why not now? I mean, I guess if you say not now, then will be not now forever.
Right, and we were just reading there's no order of difficulty in miracles. It's like, yes, you can do this now, but why don't we? And that's always the question I ask, is why am I not doing it when I know that I could? And Jesus tells me you can do it anytime. But you're right. You were talking about he's asking these questions. He was asking these questions. What does this mean?
Right.
And he was recognizing that nothing that he saw meant anything. And just as you're saying, he was learning this for the first time himself.
Yeah.
So, we're there too, learning it for the first time ourselves as well.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And He's here with us, do it with us. That's the cool part.
Yes.
The thing was Earl Purdy always says, he says, I'm not here teaching it from me. All I'm doing is reading what it says here and reading it to you.
Yes.
That's all he's doing. He says, I'm not telling you what to judge. I'm not telling you what it means or anything like that. I'm telling you what it says it means. I'm reading it to you, and that's it. I am. He goes. I am a distiller of words or something like that. He calls himself. And I'm not an interpreter of this at all. And that's essentially what it's about. It's about allowing Jesus just to read it to you. You
I
know.
love that. What a beautiful, beautiful thought, and I love that you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because I have not done that yet.
Well, Jesus to read it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I will. Now I will.
That's what I would do. That's what I like. He's because he'll read you, and then maybe you'll get some insights that way. You know, but basically, it's kind of like when the kids used to watch Star Trek when they were younger, and they didn't really understand it very well. So I said, well, don't worry about it. Just watch it. Just watch it, and you'll understand enough to enjoy it. And they said, okay, and that's what happened. They understood enough to enjoy it. So when I'm reading this, and Jesus, I read this to me, I don't have to understand it all the time. Because it's the course, which repeats itself a lot. It's like a song that repeats itself over and over again in different ways. So you'll get the point eventually. You'll hear the music. You'll hear the chorus. It'll come in. You're innocent. You're immortal. You live forever. It's not. You're behind it all. To put it as the Ken puts it, you're the monster. You're the monster behind it. You're the reason why all these things are happening. You know. And so that might come up, but you might not get that at the first read. I didn't get that at the first read. It took me a while before I realized, as time, but as time goes on, you pick up more and more as you read it over and over again. You pick up more and more and more and more and more and more and more. As opposed to grinding away at it and trying to figure out every single line, and then you get frustrated, you throw the book across the room. It's better just to read it lightly. And then, and doing that, I have found that that's what I mean by Jesus reading it to me. I'm just sitting there relaxing on the couch, and I imagine as I read it that Jesus is doing the reading for it. He's the one reading it to me, and I'm just listening to him read.
That's awesome, and I'm sure he doesn't sound anything like the what's his name, Jim Stewart.
No, no. Well, that's Jim Stewart. I don't know where I found Jim Stewart from, but he's perfect for that because he reads it very much without any interpretation in his voice.
Yeah.
You know,
which I could not do.
No, I'd be like, you hear me read things like I'm reading like it's like the whole world's listening. I'm like, I must be realizing there's no meaning. He's like same monotone the whole time, but very, very powerful at the same time. So I don't know how Jim Stewart. I don't know where they got it, but no, it's. I mean, that actually is helpful too. I mean, I can imagine Jesus speaking to me if I put the audio on when he's speaking too. The key is because then I don't have, unless I stop the tape, I don't have time to really pontificate on it completely. Because remember the course is not supposed to be thought about, pontificated on, theorized on completely. It's the course in practicality. We're supposed to use the course and use the ideas. So for what we're doing here is good to the extent that we use what we're doing here practically and use it in the world. You know what I mean? If we talk here about Jesus and we get out there and we don't use anything, and we're not even affected by these conversations are useless.
Exactly. And what we're doing, we're looking at it from all different directions. And I know myself personally that we do these groups now where we're reading through the book and discussing what does this mean, and I'm finding so many things that I never even imagined before, and seeing even deeper and deeper and deeper into what the course is telling me. And the first time I read the course, which I never actually did, because I just kind of skipped around and read parts of this and that, and I just would go through sections and try to figure out what they were saying and talk about them. But actually reading the course from cover to cover, Dove and I did that together. Regina Dawn Akers and I did it also, the original edition. But I still didn't. The first couple times I didn't get these things that I'm getting now. So, it is, the opening of the mind that we see deeper and deeper into the language and know that it's, there's more meaning than, which is number 2, given what I see, all the meaning it has.
Yeah, well, that's the key. Try to wipe out your own meaning as you're reading it. Try to wipe out the meaning you're projecting onto it. Because then you say, you have people running around saying, I get manifestation, I can get money, and I use it for things that they're projecting onto it. And so the more you can, using this to create miracles, it can be used for all sorts of things. If the key is to remove your illusions that you're projecting onto it, and just allow it to speak to you completely. And I found that if I'm reading it, and when I'm coming here, I don't read this stuff beforehand, because I find that if I'm reading it beforehand, all this stuff goes in and out. So what I'm doing here is I just let whatever feelings come up, and it goes out. And then when I'm done with, and I know I've read it enough for now, when I look at it and there's nothing coming out, and I've not in any way, shape, or form, then I know Jesus is finished with that section for now. Because he's already given me all the answers I can get, and all I've done is read it. I just read it, and I stop. I read and stop, and read and stop, and read and stop. There's no method to it. Except reading and stopping, and reading and stopping, and reading and stopping, and talking. Reading and talking, reading and talking, reading and talking. But, it's like I'm talking about what I see there. Because, and in the little trick that Earl Purdy spoke about, if you don't know what was just said, read the next line. Always explains the line before, he says. The reason is that if you know what was said, read the next line. Usually it explains the meaning of the line before that. So the key is just to read it and see what comes up for you, and that's it. But if you're grinding away at it because you don't understand it, it's saying, "Come on, Jesus, come on." Maybe you're not supposed to get that point at that point. Maybe you're not supposed to get that insight. There's no insight there for you to have. It's like banging your head up against the wall trying to get something you're not supposed to have.
Yeah. Well, and maybe like later on when something else clicks in, you'll suddenly see, that's what that meant.
Right.
And it's there. You knew it already, but you just didn't recognize what it meant because it seemed too simple, or you couldn't relate to it. And that's what this course is, very relational. You have to relate things to stuff. So,
right.
When you begin to actually look at, how things come together, which they do, it's like complete and total synchronicity or coincidence. I'll be thinking about something, somebody else will say, I was thinking about this today, or you'll play a song and someone else says, hey, I just listened to that song. That's actually twice today that someone played a song and then another person said, hey, I just listened to that song today. So that says to me there is a very strong connection, and that when we come together and connect over these words and look at what they mean for me, we become connected in a very intimate way that is like a psychic connection. If you want to put it some way, it's like a psychic connection.
Yeah.
But it's a connection of mind to mind, heart to heart. And and Zoma says it's the one mind. Yeah. Then that's what happens, and it's because we choose to join. Right. We decide to join. Right. And that's what's so beautiful, and what makes me so joyful about this thing called ACIM Gather, because it brings people together who, look, Zoma was gone for a long time from us. You were gone for a long time from us. Yeah. and now people are coming back, and it's like, even Regis for a while wasn't teaching, and, it's just remembering our connection and coming back together. That's the purpose of the words. The words, the only purpose of the words is for us to remember our connection and to come back together.
Well, the
even
symbols.
if it may be something practical for your life.
Yes.
The whole purpose of it really is for us to remember who we are and remember that we're the one Son of God. So, I'm grateful for all of it.
Absolutely.
Everything that did it.
Absolutely. Well, there's a.
I even wonder sometimes, Wayne, and you probably wonder this too, maybe, if you hadn't have gotten Parkinson's, what would have been your, what would you be doing now? Would you be sitting here talking to me about, talking to us about what's the reality of the
Truthfully,
world?
maybe. Truthfully, I don't think so because I don't think I would have quit. But maybe you never know. I mean, it depends why I'm here. It depends if I'm here. It's like Muhammad Ali said when he got it. He said it was not. I would have gotten. Everyone said he got it because it was boxing. He said I would have gotten it if I was a baker. Nothing to do with boxing. He said, as far as he's concerned, they don't have any proof that it's the cause of Parkinson's. They have no one has any idea what causes it. It's idiopathic Parkinson's means spontaneously. It just happens. They can't see it coming. They don't know anything about it. It just happens. So he said that. So I don't really know what I would have done without it. But I have a feeling I wouldn't have. My acting wouldn't have faltered. My acting is getting a little worse now, and I don't think that would have happened. And I might have stuck with acting. So might have. You never know. But then again, I might not have been. But then it did happen, and it happened the way it happened. That's. I mean, it's almost like saying when George Carlin said, "Why is everything like this? Why can't everything be different?" It's almost for me to pontificate. Would I be here if it's almost something I would just say right now, and it has no meaning for me. Because what is it? If it didn't happen, I guess when I die, when I move on, I always imagine that instead of just a typical reincarnation, I might be sent back on my own timeline, and I can make different choices. And maybe those different choices would lead me into a non-sick situation, and I might end up getting an Oscar for winning or something. Who knows?
Like the what's her name in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Have you seen that movie?
No.
Yeah, it's very good. But yeah, that's the kind of thing. But
what?
It's amazing to me because we came together for the purpose, and the only purpose is the salvation of the world. So it wouldn't have mattered, and also because as I understand it, and I may be completely all wrong, but as I understand it, it's not something in this life that you decided you were going to have Parkinson's. It was something you decided before you even came in here.
Yeah, exactly.
That was going to be one of the paths that you could possibly go on.
That was one of the choices I was going to make, and I made the choice to have that so I could be here. It was a direct road to being here. Yeah.
Direct road, exactly.
Yeah.
So
that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Theosophy. I was reading a theosophy book once, and it said, "Every choice you make now only has its effects in the next life. Every choice, which means every choice you make now, is determined by the choices you made in the past life." I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute. That means I can just lay back and just." Well, that means the choices I'm making now are totally controlled by choices I made before.
Right. Well, you don't really have any choices.
That took all my choices away.
Yeah. And the only thing that we can choose is how to look at what is happening.
Is that how to respond to it?
Change our mind about it.
Right. Exactly. But that was one way to put it. All the karma is a life ahead of us, and so once they just took all my choices away, all I could do was be cool, relax, and say, "All right, it doesn't matter what I do because it's not in my control." And except for the fact that I could kind of imagine to set up my next life, I want to have a good life next life. So it's like when I used to say, I asked the Lord what to do, and He says, "Pretend it's up to you."
Yeah. And don't have a next life. That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my choice.
Yeah.
This is the life, and I'm only to have this one. When this one is complete, I expect that I won't be coming back. I expect that I'm going to be exactly home, because I've already told God and told the Holy Spirit, I want to get it all now, and whatever has to happen to make that happen, give it to me. Sock it to me, baby.
Yeah.
And
Do you have any,
because really, what else do you want? You don't want to keep coming back over and over and over
Yeah.
making the same dumb mistakes.
well, that's the thing. Do you have any regrets? Do you have any regrets of things that if I made that choice, things would have been different? If I made that choice, things could have been different or better. Or wonder if they could have been different or better. Do you have any choices you wish you could have made? Or are you just cool with your life? The heck with it. The choices are good.
Oh yeah, no, I love my life.
Yeah.
I think that everything I've ever done has been so fortuitous and so helpful and brilliant. I honestly, I'm just overjoyed with my life, and I don't wish anything would have happened any differently.
That's great.
Well,
that's
for
great.
reals, I can't even imagine anything that could have been any better. And even the things that I did that maybe I felt guilty about or had grief over or whatever. Those still things were things that I learned of my own self and my own thinking, and I'm able to bring it into my relationship with Jesus, and share it with him. This is what I think happened, and Jesus is like laughing his ass off because he knows that none of it happened the way I am interpreting it. So anyway, no, my life has been. And a lot of people would look at my life and say, "How can you say that? You had terrible things happen to you." No, I didn't.
Yeah,
Nothing terrible happened to me ever.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, well,
it's just been, everything. I have not been affected by any of it. No matter
that's best
how
way to
drastic it may have seemed. So
yeah.
Anyway,
for me, it's
opinion.
for me is I don't have any guilt over anything because it was useless and doesn't do anything. But I have curiosity still. What would have happened if? And I said to myself, if who knows what that's going to do. But by the time I'm 70 or 80 years old, I wonder if that'll change. That's what I'm wondering. I said if I make it to 70.
Well, yeah, I'm 70, so.
I mean, maybe.
You mentioned it. I am 70.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the thing. Maybe by the time I get to a certain age, I can look back and say, that was actually all led to right where I am now, and I'm grateful. I mean, for the most part, that's what I think for everything. But there's a few things I wouldn't mind seeing what would have happened if. And probably the funny thing is, it would have the same type of thing. I would have been older, and I would have wished I wasn't here, and the same thing would have happened. But I would have maybe had just a slightly different road to the finish line. So it's probably best I just move on, and I probably feel that, and that'll be much easier for me to take as this life progresses. I'll be able to look back on that in the future and say, yeah. So I didn't make that choice. There's just certain choices you look back on and say, I could have made that choice, and I wonder what would have happened. And maybe it would have been terrible what happened. You know what I mean? It could have been horrible.
Oh yeah.
You never.
Me too. I think about I had opportunities to get married to different people,
right?
And had they all some of them had an amazing life and some of them had a terrible life, but had choices to go to school or not, or
right.
All the different things. And yeah, sure, what if I would have gotten my PhD in physics or something like I thought I was going to do when I first started,
right?
I would have probably maybe come to the same place because
right.
That would have brought me there, but I'm not gonna mourn because I didn't, and I decided to go be a wild person and have babies and live a life.
right. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it all worked out in the best for me. So
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean,
no matter what.
that's the thing. It's just curiosity, and it always looks like it'd be more fun than it probably will turn out to be. And I just hope I hope that I can let go. I can. I'll let go of it all as time goes on, because you don't want to get pulled back into grievances or resentments or curiosities, really, because that's the ego is just saying, stay here, stay here, stay here, and then it gives more of a chance to get to you. You know what I mean? So the higher you get. Next stop is like, what are the astral planes? Is there one of the imagination? I like to think it's like I have lucid dreams, just set at a high level of consciousness where you do whatever you want. It's total freedom. That's probably what I like to think is next. Moving up to like the fourth dimension in time, moving backwards and forwards in time. All this kind of fun stuff, which will be so far superior to anything you feel here. There's a great picture I have of beautiful mountains, beautiful the Boreal of Alaska, and the quote says, "This is not vision." Is that great?
Exactly. Exactly.
It's like, whoa, how can that be vision? It's beautiful. It's a vision. It is a vision. Nope, it's not vision. No, it's so much more. If you knew what vision, if you knew what beauty was, this would be ugly.
Exactly, and yeah, I mean, when you begin to see the reality of what is, and I know I've gotten glimpses, and I know you probably have too, of a different kind of world, a different kind of reality that is just joy,
Yeah.
joy,
Yeah.
and I mean, I've kind of feel that way anyway. I'm always happy.
Yeah.
Even when things are going wrong, and I think it's a mental condition, but it doesn't matter. I would take it.
That's funny. It probably is. People are like that. We had a babysitter once. I said, "Your mother died." And I said, "Are you okay?" She was, "You don't seem sad." And she was, "Yeah, I don't feel them things." Oh. She mother died. She didn't finish. I don't feel those things. I said, "All right, well, good for you. I'm sorry it happened, and God bless you." She said, "Yes, okay." And that was it. She doesn't feel those things. She was great. We had her for years. She was a great nanny, and she was stable, and she was always on time, and the kids loved her, but she just never got sad. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't that be the perfect? Isn't that kind of? I don't know if you read Byron Katie talks about that, and other people have talked. What if someone came in and said, right now your child is dead? They said, well, I'd be sad for a couple minutes, but then that would be it. I wouldn't be sad anymore because that's the way it is.
Yeah, well, that's tough stuff.
There's nothing I can do about it. Why be sad if there's nothing you can do except make yourself sadder?
Yeah, well, that would definitely be that's a high level of consciousness stuff. Your kid's killed and dead, and you suddenly. It's like Solomon did that. There's a story where his punishment for sleeping with that Bathsheba and having her husband killed was hilarious.
Yeah.
He did that. His punishment was his firstborn was going to die. He was trying so hard, begging God not to do it. But once it was gone, he was fine. He just said, "All right." Once it was gone, it was over. He didn't even mourn. He just got up and said, "All right, I'm going to get back to work." So that's exactly what sounds like she was saying.
Yep. How interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if I can do that. I thought my kid was dead last summer. I thought she died out in Vegas, and I was not okay. I was not okay.
Oh yeah.
I was not okay with that. I mean, she went out to Vegas. She escaped from a rehab, and she went out to Vegas, and she was in Vegas, and she escaped from rehab, and she went into the main part of the city, and she had no ID on her. She didn't have her phone on her, and she was an alcoholic. And it was 115 degrees out there. And when she was drunk, she was out of control. And so she hadn't talked to us in 4 days. So we were just, all right, she's dead. We were assuming she was. We had pictures up all over Vegas. We missing. We had the cops out there.
Wow.
We had the FBI. We had a friend out in California that knew PIs. So we had a PI. We found her with some guy, and she was hanging out with her for 5 days in the car, doing meth. It was really crazy. And that was actually good news when we found her doing meth. Oh, good. She's just doing meth in the car. Everything's relative. She's alive. And now she's fine, though. That was like last summer or 2 summers ago. This age, you grow up very, you mature quickly. She's 22, so that was like when she was like, I think she was 2 years. 21, and now she's not drinking anymore at all. So you mature very quickly, and she's much more mature now. But at that age, she was just crazy. She refused to stay at the rehab center. And when I thought she was dead, I really thought she was dead for about, I would say, 2 days. I thought she was dead. We all thought she was dead. I was just I found myself weeping.
Yeah, I would be weeping.
Yeah, my daughter's dead. I can't believe she's dead.
Right. But I would be looking for her. I would be.
That's what we did. Yeah, we all went out to Vegas. And my daughter stayed home. Her twin daughter stayed home, and waited for phone calls at home. And so my wife and I went to Vegas, and we had the cops and everything, and we found her finally. She was moved to her home. So it was just crazy time. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
scary when your kids go off and do shit like that.
Yeah, especially But the thing is, she was smart. She didn't drink. She had drank, she would have been in trouble because she was passed out in 115 degree heat. Vegas is hot.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't believe how hot it was out there in the summer. 114 degrees.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. A lot of people want to live there, but
no, they do. All right. Well, it's with 5 minutes left. I'm gonna play a song, and then I'll give you back to Mike. How's that?
All right. All
right. So anything else? So anything else you want to say there in the end? Anything else you want to?
No, I really appreciate this conversation.
Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah, absolutely.
Love to have you and love to join with you.
Yes, absolutely, and love to everyone else in the room. Thanks for listening in, and I'll be back on Thursday. Actually, Thursday is going to be
Thank you so much, Rev Wayne Stills.